This is Denis from ESCplus. I'm together here with Gustaph. He's bound to compete in the Belgian national final called Eurosong 2023. And first of all, most important question, Gustaph, how are you?
I'm good. It's a whirlwind of emotions the last week before these finals, but I'm doing good. I'm sticking to what I want to do as a performer, and I'm trying to really focus on the performance and to cancel out the noise. That's what I'm doing right now.
Canceling out the noise is always very important because you
Yes,
don't want to get like distracted from all sorts of other things.
exactly.
Um, well, we did not hear your two songs yet. We heard snippets of it, so we
Yes,
cannot
yes.
ask you anything about that. We don't know
Sorry.
which song you're going to sing in the national final, so we keep it
hmm
that way. We keep that covered.
hmm
Um, but what are your expectations of upcoming Thursday and Friday when your songs are finally fully revealed? What do you
Right.
expect from that?
I hope that the choice that I made according to the advice of my co-stars of the show, that will also resound with the crowds and with the people watching, of course. So I hope I made the right choice. I can tell you that. But I do believe I already had a bit of a concept of what I wanted to do, and I'm also quite proud, even with Nail and because of you. I'm proud of both songs, and I'm proud of the story I want to tell. So I'm also, how do I say? I guess hopeful that people will understand that I'm trying to bring an important message to this competition.
Okay, that's great to hear. It's always important to have a message. It brings you a
Yes.
long way in the contest.
Yes.
And what do you expect of the grand final, the national final on Saturday?
Well, it's going to be a big show, that's for sure.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. We
It's
will
a,
be
it's
there
a,
as well.
it's a big. Oh, nice, great. It's going to be a. I think it's going to be a big production. It's going to be nice. And I think that I don't have I don't have, how to say, a reference for this as an artist. I've been working in the industry for like 20 years. I've done a lot of things going from, I played Glastonbury, I played a Chanel show with Hercules Love Affair. And this is still something I don't have a reference for, this kind of really uh, pressure cooker. And you have to
Hmm.
literally work. When I tell you that we've been working our asses off for weeks and months, and it only comes down to 3 minutes. So
Hmm.
I can imagine only if you go through to the big Eurovision final. It's so much pressure and it's so much work that you have to do for this.
Hmm.
But in all honesty, the more I'm working, the more I'm like, I want to get on stage and nail this shit. So it's a double thing where you feel, oh my God, I'm exhausted, but there's also this drive that keeps you going, and it gets stronger and stronger the more
Hmm.
Saturday is approaching.
So you're full of adrenaline for Saturday.
Yes, yes, well, yes, that's for sure.
A little high on life. That's good. That's good.
Yes, that's always good. That's always good.
People might not know this about you, but you're not fully new to the Eurovision Song Contest.
It's
You've
true.
been a background singer for Senec. I
Yes,
believe that was in 2018 in
yes,
Lisbon. And
correct.
then you were also a background singer for Hooverphonic in
Yes,
2021.
yes,
Um,
correct.
what made you decide to finally take center stage yourself?
Well, because this is obviously a joke, but the thing is, for Senec and for Hooverphonic, I was there singing along, but I wasn't on stage.
Hmm.
So it became a personal vendetta to be front and center on the stage. No, I'm kidding. Just taking the piss. I'm really taking the piss. No, because what made me do it is mostly because once you're there, and I did it twice, and I was always a Eurovision, especially as a kid, I was an obsessed Eurovision kid. And I was always still watching it and having fun, looking at it with friends. But going there and being in that arena and seeing the crowd and how they support everyone who's performing on stage, they sing to every song that's on that stage. And it's really a very magical thing. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that before. And that really was a trigger for me to be like, I think I want to experience that as well. I think I want to be part of that as well. And I also still think it's maybe a naive but a noble idea to compete for the best song in Europe. I think that's a very noble idea, and I think it brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. So it's just something you want to be a part of.
Okay, that's good to hear. Very nice. Good morale. Um, let's see. On Thursday and Friday, you're going to reveal two songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're called Because of You and The Nail.
Mm-hmm.
Did you write them yourself or the music?
Yes. Yes. I'm a singer-songwriter and producer myself, and I've always worked in that sort of capacity in the music world. So Because of You was written with a fellow queer artist called Jawad Alul, who's a great artist, great singer. And The Nail I wrote completely by myself, and I produced both tracks myself. So yeah,
Okay. So they're very close to the hearts.
very,
Um,
very close to the heart.
what would
Yes.
be like the morale of the songs? What do you want to convey with them? What do you want people
Well,
to know?
yes, but when I talk about the message before, I have to say that I wrote those songs, both of them, from a queer perspective,
Mhm.
from me being a queer person and also a queer artist. But I also didn't want to make it like a sobby story. I really feel at my age that I'm very that I'm very secure in who I am, and I also want to make sure that that is portrayed on the stage. So that means Because of You, for example, is a celebration for self-acceptance and for the people who brought you to where you are right now. So Because of You for me means my chosen family maybe, but for someone else it could mean their partner, their family, their children. I think it's a very universal message. And The Nail has the same point of view, but it comes from a different place. So The Nail is also about self-acceptance and being strong in who you are. But The Nail focuses a bit more on the idea of the journey that it took to get there. So while it's a little bit more dark, the emphasis is still, I'm here, take notice. So they
Okay.
both have a very similar energy when it comes to the lyrics.
Um, well, I think it's a good bridge to like ask you, what do you think about like representation on the Eurovision stage? We had like for example, the World Cup soccer in Qatar. People were also speaking about representation, and you shouldn't do it like on
Mm-hmm.
such a huge stage or for such a
Mm-hmm.
huge event.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about like representation of all sorts of people on the Eurovision stage?
I think it's very important, I want to make clear that I think Eurovision took a lot of steps in creating acceptability, and there's I think a lot of great things that are already happened on Eurovision. For me personally, if I can talk about that, I knew for a fact that when I had this opportunity, when I was selected for this final, I was like, I'm going to use the platform. I'm sorry, I'm going to close my window. There's a dog barking. So let's start the question
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
So annoying. This dog, seriously. So yeah, we're gonna have to start again with that last question. Sorry, I couldn't stand the dog barking.
Don't
Sorry.
worry. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. No, well, the thing that I asked is about
Uh,
representation,
Voila.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I'll start there. I think Eurovision in general has been very open-minded to those kind of things, the stuff we've seen on stage, I think for years. I think someone told me it was this 93 when Iceland sent their first open gay performer to the Eurovision, which is kind of avant-garde. It was the
Hmm.
90s. So, there's been a relevance towards those kind of imagery on Eurovision. When I talk about myself, I felt when I got selected by the national broadcasting system for this final, I was like, I'm going to use the platform. And it would be silly of me to not use who I am on stage. Plus, I think I've been in this business for 20 years. And when I started out, it was a different world, honestly, as a queer artist. It was still a bit, not that I couldn't be myself, but it was like, don't talk too much about it. Don't be too obvious because that could scare fans away and stuff. And I feel where we are right now in life, it's a very different world. Look at people like Sam Smith, who I think is brilliant right now in what he's doing with his imagery, and he's just himself, and it's adorable. And I just wanted to portray that kind of message as well on stage. Like, I'm just who I am. I'm not exploiting who I am. I'm not making who I am bigger. This is just a part of me, and it's a part of my artistry. And therefore, it will be shown on stage.
Hmm. It's also a good answer to the question, like why you sang in the background before. Maybe it's also like unconsciously a thing that you're now like more ready than ever to take the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, because I've been working as a singer, songwriter, vocalist, and producer in a lot of capacities, I don't think necessarily that it's really about that I wasn't ready for it before. I think it's just a matter of this opportunity was given and I went for it, and I think the reference was needed. I had to do those two Eurovision contests, and to be like, oh my God, I like this. This is interesting what it's doing to me. Yeah.
And to say I can do that better. No, no,
No.
no, I'm kidding.
You know, your words, not mine.
No,
let it be known.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer. Worst case scenario, Gustaph.
Yes.
You're not going to make it to Liverpool 2020.
Yes.
What did you learn from your experience, from your national final experience?
Well, I guess I can only talk about that up till now. I think I've learned that that I can actually do a lot of stuff at the same time, and juggle a lot of things at the same time. But I also feel, because it's true, when you do this competition, there's no reference for me, and I think for no one who does this. So you'll get a lot of opinions, a lot of people who will give their 2 cents, which is fine. That's how that works. But I've also learned to, like I said, cancel out the noise. And it doesn't even matter if I see good or bad things. I think it's more about me being in the center of what I want to do and staying there. And I think it's a great lesson. No matter what happens, that what I want to present will be presented on the stage on Saturday. And that to me is very important, that I was able to do that, because I think the noise can really outbalance you. That's for sure. And I've learned that I can really stay focused and stay true to what I want to do. And also the other thing I've learned is I'm very lucky, because, for example, my 2 best friends are singing with me on stage. My husband is helping me out in a lot of things on stage. So it's something that I feel is something very lucky. I actually bring my family on the stage, which is something that is tremendously lucky to me. So it also makes me feel like I'm surrounded by good people.
Yeah,
so it's very sloppy, but it's the truth.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, like one of the artists in Rotterdam told me, like, for those 3 minutes on stage, like the lights and the fire and everything is there for me. And I thought that was like a great like way of thinking about it, like canceling out the noise. I'm going to do this. It's just being me there. That's great.
Yes, exactly.
I have one last question. Your songs are very danceable, both of them.
Yes.
Are you going to dance on stage?
Let me tell you this. It's a very good question.
As a professional dancer.
I am not a dancer, darling. That is for sure. That is for sure. I'm a mover. So I will move. I will do some things. But I'm not going to I can tell you already now, because I can't reveal too much, but what is for sure, you won't see me doing one of these. That's not going to be it.
Okay, so you're not going to do like a whole Chanel presentation?
No, there's no backflips. There's no, unfortunately.
I was hoping on that, but
I know, I'm truly sorry. I break a hip. I'm too old to do that shit. I'd break a hip on stage. We can't do that. No, I'm going to be moving because it's a danceable song. And I've been working in this kind of music for like the last 10, 15 years. So this is really my comfort zone. So I know how to perform in that realm, but there are people who should dance and there are people who should sing. I'm one of those who need to sing.
Okay, good. You will do good. Okay. Is there anything you want like our audience to know or that we did not talk about during this interview?
Well, I think I want everyone to know who supports your podcast, who supports Eurovision, to keep doing what you're doing, because there's a tremendous community out there, which only by doing this, I knew it. Of course I knew it. But by doing this, I've seen so many people from all over the world who are so involved already at this point. This is just like a national final of one country. And I think that's very beautiful how so many people all over Europe, even all over the world, are just getting together and have so much interest in this, and it keeps the Eurovision spirit alive. Honestly, it will keep this thing going for ages, because there's so much love for it from people like you and from people who support you. So keep doing that, because that's a really brilliant message.
Okay, that's very nice to hear. Thank you. Then I would like to thank you for this interview as well. Best of luck on the song reveals on Thursday and Friday.
Thank you.
And the best of luck, of course, on Saturday, and we will be there.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Thank you.